Welcome back to the Listen Up podcast, where we analyze a new album each week. I'm Jamie, and this week we've got me, Nick, and Jordan. This week we're going to be taking a look at How to Love Friend Freefall by Rainbow Kitten Surprise, released in 2018, and it was picked by me. So I picked this album because it's a fairly, I guess it's not necessarily unique to the band style of music, but it's unique compared to other, like most music I've ran into, where I would say that it's an indie band just because that's kind of like a catch-all.
Mm-hmm. It's
like there's aspects of like folk in it. There's also a little bit of like softer rock, and they just kind of almost like an atmospheric, like vibey-ish kind of feel to it. And then there's also just, you know, a little bit of rap in it as well, as sometimes it feels like slam poetry, and then there's regular singing kind of mixed throughout. And I was listening to a few songs off of it, and I was like, you know what? I really think that, because I was going to do a different album, and then the day that we were going to record last week's episode, I listened to a few songs off here, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. And here we are. Yeah, I mean, they're a band that I discovered probably, it was within the last 2 years, after hearing a little bit of talk between friends I had about listening to them, and I never checked them out, purely because, like, with the name, I was like, what's that going to be?
Yeah.
Then I listened to it, and I was like, oh, this is, dang, I feel bad that I put this off for so long, because I really dig, like, their entire body of work. This came out in 2018, so we'll see if there's a new album on the horizon. I'm not sure. But they're one of the bands who I've discovered and they're supposed to have incredible live shows. And I've seen some clips of theirs, like they did one at the Red Rocks out west.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And it looks so cool. So yeah, if they're ever in town, because they're from Boone, so they're, relatively local.
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah, and so if they ever come into town, I'm probably within like a 3-hour driving distance. I've got to buy tickets. I want to see them so bad.
I know they've done a couple Boone shows. I remember like in high school people talking about them, or even like beginning of college.
Yeah, it was for me, they were popular in like the band kid crowd. I guess they probably, like, whoa. I'm
kidding. I respect people.
Yeah, they just probably were drawn by the name, and then
yeah, true.
But
honestly.
yeah, I knew probably 4 or 5 people. I had a friend of mine named Luke who like really liked him, and I just never checked him out, and now I wish I had, because we could have talked about him. Yeah, me and Vic last summer, we listened to a lot of Peach Pit and a lot of RKS before and after Bonnaroo.
I was going to say, were they at Bonnaroo too?
Unfortunately not. There was a Rue. So at Rue, there's like some like unlisted shows that there are 8 quote unquote campgrounds kind of sectioned off, and they're little like miniature like attractions kind of at each of those designated campsites, where throughout the night there's like a disco campsite and like an EDM area. There's like one where you can go and do like hand paintings led by Haley Williams or something.
That's cool as hell.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff, and they'll do like secret shows.
Okay.
But like no one knows about them, not even like Rue organizers. If you find like employees who are just kind of throughout the grounds, they don't really know about them, and even if they do, they won't tell you. So I don't even know how you're supposed to know. You just kind of, you hear whispers of like, oh, I think so-and-so's doing this at like 2 a.m. or whatever, and it's like, do I want to stay up and like check it out, or do I want to go to sleep? And so I don't think that they wound up doing one, but there's rumor of them doing one, and we're like, oh, that'd be so cool. but we're also exhausted and we just want to go to sleep.
I guess.
But yeah, because they performed at Rue in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to check out...
You said Bonner tries to change up their lineup a lot, right?
Yeah. I mean, but there are definitely recurring people, so I would love for them to come back at some point. Mm-hmm. Because I plan on going to Bonnaroo a lot. We were going to go this year, and then it just didn't work out. But that's a whole other thing. Yeah, and so, but they're one of the bands that if they ever come into, even if it's within like a 3-hour drive, like to town, I'm absolutely buying tickets as soon as I can.
Yeah, I got you.
Because as much as I love their catalog, they're supposed to be just like put on incredible performances. Which I could see it because I find a lot with this kind of music, since they kind of, some of their songs, it's like extended, just like poetry rapping a little bit. Mm-hmm. It leaves even more room and freedom to just kind of like ride with the drums and the bass and kind of just mess around a little bit. Mm-hmm. And so I could totally see them doing a bunch of like weird spaced out stuff, like something like Tame Impala or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my favorite live performances to watch by theirs is, I don't know if you guys have heard of Audio Tree.
I don't think I have.
I have, but I don't know like a ton about it.
Shaky Graves has a pretty good performance on there. It's kind of like, I don't know if it's a label or if it's just like I don't know what Audio Tree is, but they have like indie artists come on and perform like 5 or 6 song sets, and they kind of interview the members between the different.
Is it like a radio show?
Yeah, it's like because the intro there, I was like, you're listening to Audio Tree live. So I don't know if it's like on iHeartRadio. I don't really know where it airs, but Peach Pit has a really good one. Shaky Graves has a really good one. Gotcha. And RKS has one that's really cool.
Do you know Like a Virgin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they I think they're a radio show in Australia, and they get people to come on and do covers.
Yeah, are they the ones who put on Jam in the Van, or is that a separate?
I don't know. Because
I know of both of them. I just don't know if they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our YouTube artist plug.
Have you seen real quick? Have you seen Denzel Curry do Bulls on Parade?
I have, actually, and I don't hate it.
That actually sounds pretty good.
It's very impressive.
Yeah,
I listened to Bulls on Parade when I worked out today.
Dude, Rage
Against the Machine. I don't know how you
generate
that
workout.
That crazy of a sound on guitar. That riff. That powerful.
Yeah, are you talking about like the actual chords or like the wah 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 wah?
Like the chords, because I know you talked about like the wah wah wah. That's like him like messing with the volume knobs on his guitar.
While he like rubs the string, he switches between pickups. One of them is off and the other one's on, so that's how it like cuts out like that.
Gotcha.
Tom Morello's just on another level of just messing with the guitar and getting weird sounds out of it.
He's like Harvard educated, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he went to Harvard. Dude, I want to take his master class, but I don't want to pay for it. Yeah, just power chords, a lot of gain, a lot of Marshall speaker cabinets, probably.
I got you.
There's a lot of ferocity in those things. Yeah, I guess back to the matter at hand. What was you guys' level of experience? Jordan, I know you said you kind of heard them talked about in middle school. High school? Had you ever like listened to any of their stuff?
I hadn't, and I know some people. Like I see people posting about it every once in a while, or before this too. And I don't know. I never actually. Again, I knew it wasn't kind of my kind of music, but I was intrigued because of the name. But I was never like, I've never pushed to that limit.
I got you. I'm willing to hazard a bet that you've probably at least heard snippets of either Hey Pretty Mama or Cocaine Jesus. Those are like really huge songs of theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like that you've heard it to where you'd recognize it, but I'm sure at some point you've heard some snippet of their work. You just not realized it, probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I know Hey Pretty Mama got radio play.
Oh, really?
I think I'd heard part of maybe Holy War on a commercial or something.
It could have been.
Maybe. But I've heard you play Cocaine Jesus in your car before.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Cocaine Jesus.
Not quite. But yeah, I mean, they just okay. So I guess that pretty much sums up your like exposure to them as well, Nick.
Yeah. I've heard you play their music in your car. I thought it was cool when you said they were from Boone, but I just never really checked them out on my own. Mm-hmm. I'd heard Cocaine Jesus, and I'd heard you play. What's the name of this song? For some reason, I feel like it's hard for me to remember names to songs on this album. Like,
yeah, I that's part of some of the stuff in my notes. I also experienced that.
I'd heard you play. I'd heard you play When It Lands in your car.
Yeah, I love that one. Yo, my computer just freaked out. What the heck? Oh, I was so worried that it was like, it wasn't. Okay.
Yeah, and I think I've heard Holy War, part of Holy War in a commercial. Mm-hmm. But, other than that, I'd never really checked them out. But, I think it's really cool that they're from Boone. I try and support North Carolina artists like that guy I mentioned.
Support local.
Yeah, like Matchbox.
Exactly. It's all connected.
Uh-huh. But
like DaBaby and J. Cole.
That's true. But I was thinking more His Golden Messenger from Durham, that southern kind of folk-ish singer that I like a lot,
mm-hmm.
and the Avett Brothers too. I like them a lot.
Oh yeah.
I really regret not going to His Golden Messenger. Did a show at Cat's Cradle.
Yeah.
And they recorded like I think they're selling that the album. There's like it's a live album. They recorded songs from that show that they did in Cat's Cradle, and they sold it on Bandcamp, but it's also on Spotify. And I regret not going there and being there for it because it was literally like 30 minutes away, and I think it was last January when they did it.
Yeah.
But
that's how I feel about some concerts too. Like last year, Lil Wayne and Blink-182 did a concert tour together, and I think I could have gone, but I didn't. And then Blueface did one like Greensboro or Charlotte or something. I could have gone, and I didn't, and I'm so mad at myself.
I feel like everyone's probably got those like concerts that they regret. Like Manchester Orchestra, who I love, was at. I think they were also at Cat's Cradle. No, they weren't at Cat's Cradle. They were at the Ritz. And I just didn't commit to going there, but I would have loved to see them.
Yeah,
I was gonna go to a Fetty Wap concert. Dude. I was going to. I literally pretty much had tickets already. I was gonna buy them, and then COVID hit. And I was like, bruh, and I love Fetty so much.
I almost went to a Young the Giant concert at the Ritz.
They were going to be in Bonnaroo this year.
Really?
I was so hyped. Yeah,
that would have been great.
Rip, dog. I was going to go to a concert in Chicago. I think it was like hosted by Lyrical Lemonade. Of course, it's hosted by that. I actually don't know if I really wanted to go, and I was like pretty much set on going. I didn't know what the prices were because they never released them. Because I mean, it hit like. They usually do like sometime in like July like this, and by like April they were already like, yeah, we're probably not going to do this year. And I was like, great.
It happens.
But yeah, it's okay.
All right, so I guess we'll you guys want to start talking about just general stuff about the album? Do either of you want to take it away before I'll see what on my notes y'all hit?
I think earlier you said something already about like just a blend of genres throughout the whole thing. Like there's rap in it, which I feel like is almost extra talented, like more talented than usual rap, just because the beat in the background isn't like on loop. Like I think
that's true.
Yeah, I think the sections that he raps, they keep the same beat throughout, and he doesn't really change up his flow or anything.
Right. Well, because it's incredibly difficult, So you got to do at least something to hold that like same periodicity.
Yeah, definitely. But like the fact that he goes from singing like really well, and hitting like I love the general sound, the timbre, if you will, of his voice. Like he has kind of a Kings of Leon sentiment to him, that southern wail almost sometimes. Yeah, I enjoy that sound a lot, and the fact that he goes from that to rapping in the middle of like 2 or 3 different songs is very impressive and interesting. And at first I thought it was a little weird, but the more I listened to the album, the more I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it definitely, at first, it's enough to make you go, huh? And then it starts to grow on you, and then you're like, oh, okay, now I like this.
Yeah, I feel like Fever Pitch has like 5 different sections in it.
Yeah.
Like
and it's
the
only
chorus,
like a 3.5 minute song or whatever.
Yeah. Like the chorus is super catchy, and the opening is like really is slow and kind of sparse, and then they get into like a more rhythmic section, and then I think it might be the bridge when he raps, but that whole song is like a roller coaster ride. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love just throughout the album. That's one of the reasons why I was like, I gotta introduce this, because I love that so much, like the just sheer variety and everything.
Yeah. It actually reminded me a little bit. Today I was coincidentally listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers at work. I was listening to the Californication album. Mm-hmm. And just the fact that they do like a bunch of like rhythmic rock, if you will, like more like Rainbow Kitten Surprise isn't really funk rock in a sense, but they do have there's elements of funk there, like the rhythm sections and the grooves that they create, rather than like soaring guitars and things. That's present in Red Hot Chili Peppers and Rainbow Kitten Surprise, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers kind of rap a little bit, I guess. Like Give It Away is like kind of rap.
Yeah.
But I found some similarities between them today. Coincidentally, it was cool.
I gotcha. I can see it for sure. And Jordan, how did you feel about this album?
So there was a lot of different genres, like Nick said too. I really like the end of like Fever Pitch, which I think is like kind of when you start, like that's the first time you started rapping a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
that's also the first time that there's like real musicality in these sections as well. Like, because it opens with like that like spoken word thing about like wanting to keep the love alive or whatever, and then Mission to Mars is kind of, there's music backdrop, but it's mostly like words, and then Fever Pitch I think is the first one where it's like, that's where like the stuff starts to emerge a little bit more.
Yeah. I real quick, I liked it when they break down from the beginning of Fever Pitch into the bass and the drums and the little background vocals really that go good. Like, I like that. I like the blend of everything. It was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But go ahead, Jordan.
I was also, I was also gonna say it's still a little light for me, like as far as albums go, to digest. It doesn't mean I didn't like it. It's just because I'm so desensitized to like so much like bass and just like screaming on the chorus. I'm like, is this what music sounds like?
Yeah, you've got to do a cleanse.
I know. I am. Yeah. No, it's just that's just like a one-off. I'm like, is this what I used to listen to before that? Like I used to listen to what my dad used to listen to, which is like Uncle Cracker and like
heck yeah,
so different.
Wait, no. Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean it was like this. I meant it was a little more like easy going.
Like, compared to what you listen to, Uncle Cracker is like so far off.
Dude, and it's so weird because I love Uncle Cracker and Daughtry like to this day, because I think I listened to it when I was younger, but it's like it's so out of my music taste now. But like I could literally listen to it for so long.
I can't remember how old I was, but my parents bought me tickets to a Daughtry concert. We went to a Daughtry concert. Yeah.
Dang.
It was cool.
It's really cool.
I still like Daughtry. I don't really like put him on a whole lot, but if somebody plays it in the car, I probably know most of the words to most of the song.
just like that one album he had, I think Didn't we already talk about this? It's called like Daughtry or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
that was his first one. Yeah,
dude, that was
that one and the one right after that one. I know a lot of that.
I'm not sure if I listened to the one after that. I might have outgrown it by that point. But yeah, as far as like music goes, I think it was pretty good, Jamie. And like Rectify was pretty good. Had some pretty good verses on there too. I can't remember exactly,
dude,
but
Rectifies. Yeah.
And it's a pretty quick song too, so you can kind of like
it's like a minute 30.
Through.
A lot of these songs actually are like there's only a few that are really long ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is true. Real quick, what do you count as like a long song? Like when does a song become long? Like after
that's a good question.
Or like a regular song? Is a regular song to you like 3 minutes or like
3.5 is like a regular song to me?
Yeah, I'd say 3.5 to 4 minutes is like a regular song for me.
Yeah, like 5 minutes is like a long song in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, yeah, 5. I would definitely say 5 minutes up there. I'd probably say 3.5, 4, maybe pushing it a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, I actually just wanted to know because we had said that a couple times, and I was like, I wonder what they think is like a long song.
See what our frame of reference is.
Yeah.
I think the longest song I have saved on Spotify is like 11 and a half minutes long.
Is how many minutes long?
11 and a half.
What is it?
Is it Tame Impala?
No. No.
Oh, because that one's the really long on Currents. I can't remember what it's called.
What's the really
longest one?
What's a really long song on Currents?
There's like a 10.5 minute song.
The longest song I've listened to.
I'm a Currents expert.
It may be on the one that's after Currents then.
The Slow Rush. There's like a 7-minute song on the Slow Rush.
Hang on.
The longest song I listen to is Last Call on the College Dropout, and it's when like I think it's Big Sean. He just like raps for like, or he just like talk raps for like 9 minutes, or not even 9, like 7 or 8 minutes.
Gotcha.
On, like the back half of the song. It's like a good song, but then he just starts like the beat like stops or like drops like a little just like chords in the background, and then he just like starts rapping. Mm-hmm. But the longest song I've ever like listened to fully is Runaway, and it's like 9 minutes. Like I always listen to like all of Runaway just because
it's so good.
I just like the end too. It's like when he's like has that like auto tune like way up, and he's just like, oh, it's so good.
But anyways, that 11-minute song is called "Thinking of a Place," and it's by the band The War on Drugs. It's very relaxing.
See, I've got really long ones saved that some are relaxing and some aren't. Like, let's see, War Pigs. What's the basement tape version of that? Oh, it's not on Spotify? Oh.
Rip.
What a rip. Dude, that's not, it's the basement tapes version is way better. Alright, so I guess it's not that one anymore. Technically it's saved, but I can't listen to it. It's probably Since I've Been Loving You. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
That one's 7 minutes 24. Oh, it's the wait. How long is Stairway? Alright, so Stairway's 8:02. That's actually, what's Green Grass and High Tide? I'm sure this is riveting for the listeners. 9:51. I think that might be the longest one.
Gotcha. I was gonna say Dawes, that like California alt rock band.
Yeah, it's longer than Freebird, so it's Green Grass and High Tides.
Gotcha. But Dawes has a song on their 2015 album. The album's called All Your Favorite Bands, but it's the last song on the album, and it's like 9.5 minutes. I think it's called Now That It's Too Late, Maria.
Mm-hmm.
That when they played it at their concert, they jammed it's like the song is very relaxing on the album, and they didn't even like jam super like hard at the concert. They just they added a little more guitar into it. I didn't even recognize what song it was for a while. But it was good. Mm-hmm. It was good. Good times.
I got you. Yeah, so Jamie, what do you think about the album?
I love this album.
Really?
Yeah, I also, it was kind of the case where I chose it because I wanted to take a like a deeper dive into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, anything I found that I didn't know before, makes me like it even more. So this is gonna be my highest rated album. To give a little bit of a tease.
Didn't you already? Never mind.
I was like I said, I didn't know much by them at all before this, but I I like really enjoy it as well. I drove down to the beach last Friday, and I think this was the first album I listened to, and I took a way that was like 10 or 15 minutes longer than just taking I-40, like taking the interstate, and I drove on it was like a one lane on each side, like highway in quotes. But like
love those kind of drives.
Yeah. But I just drove through like East North Carolina for a super long time, driving by like farms and stuff.
You don't get enough of that from going to work?
Yeah. I do get a lot of that from going to work, and then I left work and I drove through more of that to go to the beach. But it was cool. I listened to this album and a couple more I'll talk about when we talk about what we listened to this week. But
gotcha. Another tease.
But
get those listener percentages. Oh,
you should definitely listen until the end of the podcast.
Don't skip.
We promise we'll actually talk about the album.
We're not just gonna. This album, I love like the transitions between the songs are so excellent. Like I can only think of one album off the top of my head that are better, and it's 2020 Complete Experience by Justin Timberlake, because all the songs, they flow into one another like beat wise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this one, about half of them do, but even the ones that don't necessarily just blend, like I didn't realize the first 3 times I listened to this album that Moody Orange isn't the same song as Matchbox.
Yeah, me too.
I never listened to it just by itself. I used to listen to Freefall, Fever Pitch, Holy War, and Painkillers, and When It Lands, and Hide. So half the album. I used to listen to those. I would put them on my playlist, and add them to the queue, and I never listened. But then the first few times I listened to the full album, I was like, "Where? I'm not hearing this song. Where is it?" And then I was like, "Oh, it's not the same song. It's a separate song." But
that's pretty funny.
They both musically and subject matter wise, they blend seamlessly.
Mm-hmm.
And so and there's a few instances of that, and I love the transition between it so much, but it transitions so well that sometimes you don't realize that you're listening to a new song till you look at your phone or whatever screen you're listening to it on, and you're like, oh, it's a different song now. And I mean, I love, all the stylistic differences. I also like how the album starts off talking about kind of trying to grind it out and get success. Like Mission to Mars is about trying to start something successful. And then it kind of ends, like the last 3 songs are just about like breakups. And the album starts with talking about wanting to stay in love and not letting the love die in Pacific Love. And then it ends with 3 songs about breaking up. Just thought that was like a neat, kind of evolution of the album.
Yeah.
So I guess
I always love when something seems like it has an emotionally conflicted nature, like in movies, music, whatever. And I felt like that was present in this album. And also, I think I said in like when we were talking about Mechanical Bull, I like when music sounds like it's cathartic for the people who are making it and performing it. And that's present in like so many songs on this album.
That's especially like Hide and Moody Orange and Freefall. Yeah, absolutely.
And like and Polite Company too.
Oh, Polite Company, dude! What a way to end an album.
Yeah, that song is so
just
good.
Like the piano. Yeah,
that song is a perfect example of how I've come to prioritize the feeling of music more than completely understanding everything that a singer says. It's hard for me, at least. It was hard to understand probably like the first half of the song, listening to it, and when I looked up I caught like lots of bits and pieces of it, but wasn't really
you catch
able
enough to kind of get like what it's saying, even though you don't know exactly what it's saying.
You catch enough with the melody to like develop a feeling, and that was what I love so much about it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess we'll just get ahead and start moving into like the specifics of it. But yeah, like there's just so much on this album that is like, he goes from talking about the band to then like Hyde. It is just him talking about like coming to grips with his, or coming to an understanding of like his own sexuality and like the reality that presents him with.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's so much to unpack in this album that you could talk, because that's another thing, that having like kind of like a rapping or poetry, you can say so much in such a little amount of time.
Yeah,
that there's just so much meat to like carve into with this album. So even, because I mean the album is 38 minutes long, I think is the runtime.
36 minutes.
36 minutes, yeah, but like you could just take so long looking at like line by line. If you were to actually like take it apart, you could talk for so long about it. But unfortunately we can't do that, so that's why we have notes. Yeah, do either of you want to start this off? Talking more specifically.
Nick can.
Did you say you can, Jordan?
Well, I said you can.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. I'm really bad articulating sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be better just for you to get the rock ball rolling.
Something I thought was really interesting was with the song "It's Called Freefall." I really just like I resonated with the hook a lot first listening to it, and I'll pull it up really quick so I don't say it wrong. But like I said, I just resonated with the hook a lot and would sing that out when I was listening to it in the car. The "You could let it all go, you could let it all go. It's called Freefall." And at first, I really just attached to that and didn't really even think much about his lyrics about the devil and talking to the devil and stuff. And the song was kind of a symbol to me for moving on and like, why are you wasting time on these negative emotions? You could let it all go. But really digging into it, it sounds a lot darker. Like I think it's towards the end of the first verse when he says they thought it's "Don't get me venting on friends who resent you, 'cause all you've ever done has been a noose to hang on to. They thought was a necklace, and reckless they fell into hell, where you both hang with nothing to do but scratch, kick, let gravity win." Yeah. And when I read that, I was like, oh my god, like this is way darker than...
Yeah, it's about like giving into like suicide and like inner demons, as well as talking. Yeah. Yeah, this
I didn't even notice that either.
Yeah, this is a song where like it starts out, called to the devil and the devil to come, and then he's like talking to the devil, and then it kind of, because it's okay. So it starts out. He said, "I said to the devil, do you like drums? Do you like cigarettes, dominoes, rum?" Kind of talking about like, do you like all of this like, I guess quote unquote like sinful behavior, thinking like all of this dark stuff. And then the devil's just kind of like, no, not really. And so that's kind of like the devil is like, no, that's not really what I like. And then it's kind of him later on. He's like, can I sit down? The devil's talking. He says, can I sit down? I've been hustling all day. I can't even count how many souls I've made off the same deal you on. So kind of like selling yourself a little bit, but also you could be thinking like, oh, he's talking about like suicide and depression. Like, can't count how many souls I've made off the deal that you've made, trying to get free of what's holding you down, giving into it, committing suicide, committing free fall, It gets, there's like some heavy, there's a lot of like weight to it. Yeah. I love in that there's a part after I guess it's the second introduction of the hook where it says, you could let it all go, you could let it all go. It's called Freefall. he kind of does in Fletcher where he says Freefall, and then it starts out with Called to the Devil, and it's like, I don't know, from a sonic perspective, I love that moment right there.
There were so
where
many.
He kind of extends syllabically the Freefall out, and then just comes right back in with almost the same like rap-ish style. And from that part of the song on, the music is just all over the place. Like the background music, it's all kind of a little bit more chaotic, and you can't really get a ride on the beat again, and so it kind of throws you into a state of kind of like, I don't know, feeling a little bit more uneasy. And then it ends out with ain't shit free but falling out, and that shit's easy, let me show you how it's like. And then there's kind of a breakdown, and then it wraps up.
Yeah,
that's a heavy one, man.
Yeah, it was a lot heavier after I looked into it, and and I think there definitely is a place for creating songs like that, songs that that help someone, even though there's not really a message of getting through the feelings in the song. If someone really resonates with those feelings, and like I feel like it can help them by showing them that there's someone else who feels like this. Like it's not like this is what you should do. It's like, hey, I've been there, and he doesn't really say it, but like, hey, I've been there, and you're not alone, and like, and I'm still like, if you look into it, like, I'm sure, like he's still alive. They're still making a career. Like, he's still making music. He's moving on from these, trying his best to move on from these emotions, I'm sure. And right. I'm sure that's comforting for people if they look into it.
Mm-hmm.
But something that you said, you enjoyed something sonically on this song, like the transition between lines. There were so many little things that I can't even really articulate, that I really enjoyed the harmonies that they do, or the certain tones that they do with instruments. But so many things like hit like the exact emotional. They created the exact feeling I felt was appropriate for that section. So much stuff felt like it was just right in so many different songs. I thought it was great.
No, I get that too. Can I piggyback off of that, Nick? You can still continue.
No, that was it. That was it.
Okay. That kind of speaking like that, like looking to someone to like most of the time, in music, some people say like, "Oh, your songs got me through like a really hard time," or like, kind of stuff like that. And it's good to listen to relatable music too, because like stuff can get you through like a hard time, depending on what you're going through. But like Painkillers was a good one for me, like lyrically wise, because it's like the first two lines are very lovely morning. Try not to kill yourself today. You're like, what? Like, yeah. It's even set to like a pretty good, or it's set to like a more like upbeat, like guitar picking kind of. I don't know how to like it's super accurately describe that, but it's like it seems like a very like happy little melody in the background, but the lyrics are a little more like intense. And even like maybe younger people listening to the music, I like the lines that's like, living just comes with a bit of heartache. Heartache comes with heartache comes with a bit of young faith. So it's like, this he's not advocating that, every second of your life ever is going to be the best. There's obviously living comes with some negatives. Like that's the you could say maybe that is like the whole human condition is like living comes with like bad stuff too,
Yeah.
But I really like that. And there's a couple other kind of I'm trying to find the word for it. Kind of. Oh my gosh, cut this out. I cannot think of the word right now.
No, you're good.
Kind of like real life situations. It's not like all he's not like glamming it up for like a song, He's not like, oh, the life is awesome, blah blah blah. Like Like, she cocks her pistol before she pops her collar. Oh, she's all but lethal pulling off that laser gun. I like she rips the halos off of angels for the fun of it. You know, I don't know. I kind of like that line a lot. If all she ever does is smile at you, run. It's kind of funny, you know. It's just picturing like this one, like, I guess. I actually don't know really what. I guess I picture a woman actually ripping off an angel's halo for some reason, but it's just kind of funny. It's like you'll meet some people that aren't like the best, I guess, but you know, still gotta go through.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a lot that can be taken out of painkillers, but yeah, I love the the part you mentioned earlier about the like living comes with a bit of heartache stuff, like, because it's saying like this just happens. Faith stays young till your heart gets broken. Hope grows up to become someday. Yeah, a line that stuck out to me is Canaan ain't far for the souls who barter their pain for sweet relief, like using, trading their pain for the sweet momentary relief of opioids. Yeah. But because Canaan is some sort of like a holy land thing, right?
Yeah, I think that's what it said on Genius. I don't exactly know, but I know it's like in the Bible.
Hebrew Bible thing. What is it? It was a Semitic speaking civilization region in the ancient Near East. I'm pretty sure there's also, like, I know in the Bible there's use of like the Canaanites and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's kind of saying like, it's another way of saying like the afterlife isn't far for those who try to barter their pain for sweet relief from the
dang,
prescription made painkillers.
Yeah.
I mean it's kind of it's a harsh thing here. Like, very lovely morning. Don't kill yourself today.
Yeah, it's very the juxtaposition of it was very
I mean, the song ends with think of all the things that you'll be missing. Prescription made painkillers.
Yeah. I like the sentiment in that song of like fighting your inner negative voice, your inner demons, I guess. Like it's my opinion that everyone has parts of them that they don't like, and fighting those parts is just a routine thing, and that's what it seems like a lot of the song is about. Like if you generalize it more, but
Dang.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's really hard to do.
Yeah,
and as I get older now, you can kind of see it in some people who haven't like accepted that, and I don't know. It's just very telling. I don't even know how to describe it.
And that's one reason.
It's like I almost feel bad a little bit.
Yeah. That's one way that I, like, for a long time, it was hard for me to justify like when people ask me what I like to do, and I'm like, oh, I like to listen to music and watch movies. I feel like it's like, oh, well, that's it. Like that's what you like to do.
Oh no.
And, but it's way easier for me to justify now. Like, yeah, I genuinely want to hear other perspectives and other cultures and their lifestyles, so I can try and learn from those things. And I feel like I have learned a lot from things that aren't even biographical and aren't even real, but they're made from real people's minds and people's real emotions that they put into things.
Right. Wow. I mean, art is an extension of the creator, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of one of the reasons why I like, consuming it. I also like making, whether it be like digital art or just like playing music or whatever, because it's like, art is an extension of oneself to help, kind of just deal with the cards that we've been dealt.
Yeah. That's one thing.
I definitely agree with that. Oh, wait, sorry. You go.
I was just going to say that's one thing I wish I would have done a lot more of this summer is just try and create like anything, like try and learn like an instrument or like write, or I can't like draw or paint at all, but just try to do something. And I didn't do a lot of that, but I think I'll try and do more of it this year, and especially like I'm going to be like a full blown adult in a year, graduated from college, and I'll have to find something to do with my time. So
I know. I was about to say, one of my friends says she like doesn't even know what to do with her time anymore because she has so much of it like after work.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know if they have like a lot of time. You know, I feel like life gets pretty busy after like 30. You know?
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, I guess it gets as busy as you make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely want to fill my time too, Nick. So if you want to like, or even Jamie, I know we share similar interests in like, or actually you do it a lot more. I haven't even like I tried to start like Photoshop a little bit, and like I've wanted to do digital artwork just because I feel like it's a little easier, and I feel like I could more accurately create something that I would like that's in my head more with that, just because I like using digital stuff more anyway. So yeah, I definitely, and I haven't been good about it either this summer, Nick. But we should keep each other on it this year. Just putting it on
because everybody needs a support system.
We might be able to. Who knows? Even when you get back to Raleigh, we might be able to get together and do a live pod every week, not a remote pod.
Dude,
maybe.
Okay, I was low-key thinking like we would just be on a couch and one of us, Jamie, you could bring like the Blue Yeti or something, and I have a camera. I'm gonna have to see how to like.
Yeah, we might try to.
We'll have to. If we got a camera, we'll have to get the fits off, bro. We'll have to dress up. Man.
I just ordered new clothes, dude. Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, okay. Also, real quick, going back to it, Jamie, I'll let you talk. I'll let you go in a second. But Possum Queen, I like how it kind of sounds like he recorded it, and then it kind of sounds like muffled a little bit, like his talking. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like
it kind of sounds like he's like either away from the microphone or like maybe there's a little buff on it. I don't exactly know what like music term that is, but it sounds very like it's like it's not auto tune. Do you know what I'm saying? I have such a hard time.
Do you mean like lo-fi maybe?
Yeah, it kind of sounds like lo-fi. Like there's some like gain in his voice.
Or no, you mean his voice is like digitally altered, like there's some kind of filter on it.
Yeah, it sounds like he's like like speaking like through two microphones, or like spoke on it and then played it out loud and like recorded it on like he seems like distant a little bit. I don't know how to explain it. I was just gonna say I like the way that one sounds pretty much.
Yeah, that one there's actually like a genius thing about it. I can pull it up right here. But it was just something that they did in one take at the very end to just throw it on the album.
Oh, really?
It was kind of like just more of like a personal project of his that he never. Yeah, it was a sidetrack that I never. This is Mello, the lead singer, talking. He said that was just kind of a sidetrack that I never really pitched to be on the record. It was something that was just a personal project of mine, and I made a promise to a friend that she'd be the last track on whatever the next album was.
Dang.
We had just tracked Rectify, and it was the last day in the studio, and it was like it talked to the producer Jay Joyce and was like, we've still got 3 hours, right? And then he just looked at the drummer and said, you know, I showed you this thing, do you want to put that down? And they just did it, and he was like, yeah, one take, that was perfect. And so It was kind of a I guess 3 hours, but in studio time that's like last minute, so it was just kind of like a all right, let's just throw this on there. And I actually I like that song. I like the it's talking about like finding a little bit of like a I don't know, a little bit like a finding the good and the bad, or the good and the broken kind of thing. So that was pretty cool. It's pretty good. I like the sentiment.
Yeah, I didn't really recognize how much I enjoyed the final lyrics of the song until I went through and read them. But like that song wasn't one of my favorites on the album, but when I read the lyrics, like I'm always kind of a sucker for those sad romance songs. Like I always have been. And the end of that, like you said, like the last 3 songs on this are like kind of breakup songs. And that's one reason I enjoyed them a lot. That one and Polite Company a lot. I didn't read the Genius summaries for I read them for a couple of them. I think I read the one for Hyde. But this says for Polite Company, this says after the band recorded Possum Queen with only 3 hours to spare in the studio, they squeezed this last song out, Polite Company, in just 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It says...
Wait, like produced it and everything in 45 minutes?
It says... Maybe? It says...
Bro, that would be hard as...
Yeah. Okay, band members Sam Mello and Charlie Holt described the process of combining 2 songs at the last minute to finish the album in an interview with The Current. And then Mello, the singer, says, "We still had some time, so I was like, all right, you remember that Polite Company Radar Jam thing? I'm going to try and lay that down." They go and mic the piano with probably 45 minutes left in the session and just start banging it out. And that was it. And that's like, that, I'm not sure if that or Hyde or the combination of Matchbox and Moody Orange, one of those 3 is like my favorite quote song, because Matchbox and Moody Orange aren't the same song, but I love the combination of them.
Right.
Like one of those 3 is my favorite song on the album. And it's crazy
I love the piano intro to Polite Company.
Yeah, and it's crazy that they were just like 45 minutes. Yeah, here's this great closing track to this album. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, just what a way to end the album. The last words are, "She's the edge between the cadence of my name, and on these walls another language we would never speak, in polite company." And it just kind of it builds throughout the song, and then it just kind of, I mean, it's just kind of talking about how you kind of build, and then at a certain point there's just like a break, and it's like, this is something that we would never speak about in front of, polite company. The friends and family that we kind of put faces on is a different setting of like conversation than some of this, like the darker stuff that we wouldn't speak about in front of polite company.
Mm-hmm. Did you hear that he said 808 Heartbreak, Jordan?
I did not.
He says, "We're the dance among the drunk legs, a contest between untied lace, pop shoegaze, and 808 heartbreaks."
Oh, Kanye reference?
Yeah, talking about like dancing.
Wait, what
together
song?
In polite company.
Yeah. What song?
And
okay.
I think right after that is when he doesn't even say any words. He just like sings out the melody, like na, na, na. I can't remember what the melody is, but I really like that, of him ending off that verse that way, or that section of that verse, and the "What will hold you when the dance is through? Put your back against the wall. Follow syncopated water fountain conversation. Making love inside a crayon-covered bathroom stall." That's like that's an indie movie in 4 lines, I feel like, or like
Yeah, absolutely.
an indie episode wrapped up in 4 lines.
Yeah,
it was really cool.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, "I only want what I can't have. If you love me, give me nothing."
So
later on,
so indie
about,
emo. I love that.
I'll be on my. I remember what you came for, where your aim is, maintain it. Try to burn the right glow. I'll be on my way out. I'll be over soon. Sober later. Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is kind of, you could both apply it to like a long relationship ending, and it could also be a one-off encounter that you kind of like talking about, like maybe meeting at like a bar or a club, and then it's like a one-off thing, and it's like, I guess yeah. But yeah, I could definitely see it being some sort of like indie movie line or something. A pivotal moment in the main character's coming of age story.
some Ladybird stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's that one movie where that lady turns into a bird, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've never seen
Birdman. The
before.
man turns into a bird.
Yes, I've never actually seen the movie, but I just assume that's what happened.
Speaking specifically, kind of changing paces a little bit, harkening back to Fever Pitch, I love Oh man, there's just so much I love about the album or about that song. But yeah, I'm at the grocery store. I'm buying eggs and toast. I'm looking at you and not where I walk. About broke my nose facing doors. Lost my soul in the seventh heaven, making out on aisle 11.
Wow.
I like it. It's looking through it, you're not sure if it's talking about like a summer romance or just young, infatuation in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely love how it goes into the rapping part, and then also he ends that like rap verse with let it simmer, simmer down please, and how the music just kind of, it simmers, like it really does. It brings down, and then he just goes back in with the I got the holy roll. Love that part. That's more of like a musical thing though, and less of like a cutting into the lyrics, but just musically I love that section. Every time I listen to it, I'm like, ooh, okay, tasty.
Didn't I be reading dessert tonight?
Yeah, in Holy War, another musical thing I love is in Holy War, how it starts off with the first verse. It sounds very like Dreamland, very airy vocals, and then it comes in with that like boom kind of thing. And then when the music kicks in there, it gets really, I don't know, it gets just a little bit stanky. I really like that.
I like some stank in my music.
Yeah, Hyde is just really good throughout. Yeah. I love both the lyrics and
I love like the musical escalation of the song and like all of the lyrics of the song.
I like it, the part where he starts screaming like better hide your love, don't let it slip away, don't let it slip away. Talking about having to, the song is about having to kind of hide your sexuality if you're living in an area like that of the Appalachians where there are areas you think of as very, very progressive compared to other places, but it's still like there's a certain level of having to hide yourself below societal norms.
Yeah, and I didn't know, but I think I read in some of the Genius summaries that his parents were missionaries, and that's why. Well, might not be why, but he says, I think it's in the song. He says something about being a preacher was only just a dream, or something. I can't find the line now. But
I know the line you're talking about, and I don't think it's in the song.
Okay. But I did love the whole. I love all of the religious imagery in the whole album. There's a lot in this song, but there's also a lot in the whole album, and I like that a lot in all kinds of music. The band that I talked about earlier, His Golden Messenger, and a lot of his earlier stuff and some of his later stuff, he's not religious, but he includes a lot of religious imagery because he knows that that's native to like North Carolina. But
there's I was going to say specifically one thing I like in Hyde is that kind of the last half of the chorus is him saying the Son of Man had, and when the Son of Man had me in his clutches. He says that 3 more times, and he says the sons of men pulled me to the touch and I loved it. And that's kind of like how the chorus wraps up. And yeah, it's talking about how he wrestled with because his parents were missionaries, and he like wanted to grow up and be like a grow up and be some sort of like religious leader, and then kind of due to personal, feelings kind of went away from that path.
Yeah, I was just about to mention those lines, the juxtaposition of the Son of Man and then the sons of men being like the men that he is infatuated with.
Right, because you hear that and you're like, what's he saying right there? And then you're like, oh, this song's totally about like, sexuality stuff. And like, I love the conflicted nature of the following verse. I hate you more than I miss you. That's not true. I'd hate to miss you. Anywhere I go, anywhere you've been before, I get the chance to say goodbye. Yeah, I mean, because it's just hearing that, and especially listening to how he sings it, it sounds conflicted because it is. It's, you know, him putting apart those feelings and then being like, no, that's not true. I kind of feel the opposite and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just throughout the next couple of verses. It's so good. And then, it ends with him, you know, culminating with, like, yelling, you know, better hide your love.
Yeah.
But don't let it slip away.
I always love neat little parallelism stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and like simple stuff that resonates so well. I hate you more than I miss you. That's not true. I'd hate to miss you, because that's so catchy, so memorable, and it's so relatable. Like, how many times have you said something and then be like, oh my God, why did I say that? Like, this is going to be one of those things that no matter what I say, someone's going to remember this. And I can't
Right.
I can't suck those words back into my mouth and make them forget it.
You can't take back what's said.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I could go on for like hours and hours about stuff about this album, but I'll stop myself there.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, I guess I'll end with, I think When It Lands might be my favorite song on the album.
Okay.
I love the spaciness of the music, and then just the straight up like rap verse over just like a B flat and an A G progression in the back of it. It just sounds like super cool with the guitar like do 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 like that, and then having him rap over top of that just sounds so cool. Yeah, I mean, there's just this is what I love about this album, is there's just every song has so many lines that you could talk about like ad nauseum, just with how vivid he is describing like just everyday feelings that people have.
Yeah.
And I just love that so much. Yeah, Rectify is awesome as well. I love the part where he's going and like rapping, and then I should just shut up and cut the, and then the music cuts out and comes back in with the piano hitting it. And then he goes like cut the goddamn lights off. It's too late to turn back now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're making a scene to wreck the scene, to rectify us. You're making a scene.
Yeah, and I feel like
great one.
I feel like Rectify and Matchbox and Moody Orange like are good examples of how the rap that he does, that it feels like almost like a stream of thought to me. Like,
right.
Like,
it's just kind of like a just stream of consciousness a little bit.
Yeah. Like there's
not a lot of pause to think.
Mm-hmm. And I could just not catch that in other rap that I listen to, but I feel like stuff is like tagged on and related, and it feels like a chain. Like at the end of a little section, he'll tie that into the beginning of the next section, and it's just like you're running and catching up and like grabbing the chain. It's like he feeds it to you, I guess, in a sense.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was really neat how he can do that more speedily and not aggressively, but just more up tempo, I guess, in Rectify, and then in like Matchbox is a little up tempo, but like Moody Orange, it feels more sentimental and moody, but it's still that like fast paced stream of thought kind of rap that we were talking about.
Yeah. You can't think about like one line too long because he's already moving on like 3 or 4 later.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to like catch the gist of it and then read the lyrics later if you actually want to know what they are.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love that style. It just says so much in such a short amount of time, but the syntax of how he does it caters even more to the emotional state that he's kind of creating with the lyricism. It's just tasty. It's a tasty album,
delicious,
fellas. It's a tasty album.
Muy bueno.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do either of you have any more like specifics before we move on to ratings?
I think that's it.
I don't think I do.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I guess okay. So I'll start off, and then Jordan.
I'll go last.
Oh wait, no, Jordan. Yeah, you're going last because you're picking next week, and then Nick, you can go in between us like a little sandwich.
Okay.
Yeah, I think probably for me, I love this album so much, and I've been wrestling with what to give it as a rating. I'm not trying to draw this out. I just want to explain a little because I told myself what my first 10 was going to be, and it wasn't this album. But that's because I forgot how good this album was. And I don't know. I kind of want to pull the trigger and give it my first 10 rating.
Wait, I thought you already... Wait, so
I gave Peach Pit a 9.5. Nick had the first overall.
I gave Mechanical Bull a 10.
And
I gave that.
And after dissecting this one and just finding more and more of a rabbit hole every time I look further into the lyrics, I kind of want to give this one my first 10.
Go for it,
but
brother.
then that makes me a liar to myself. But then it's our podcast, so who cares, right?
True.
Yeah, I'll give this one a 10. It's gonna be my first 10.
Nice.
All right, so Nick, you can take it away with that one.
Gotcha. Yeah. Like I said earlier, I really enjoyed a lot of similarities I found between them and Kings of Leon. The vocal timbre between the two singers, the moodiness of the music, and the rhythm that they have on a lot of their songs that takes precedence over. Kings of Leon has a little more guitar precedence, I think, or presence, I guess, in a lot of in some of their songs, but I feel like they're still very rhythm, drum, and bass driven, and those similarities are all things that I love, and that's a reason I love this album, and I think I'm going to love this band a lot after I listen to their other stuff. The religious imagery we talked about earlier, I liked a lot. I put in my notes that this album makes me want to buy a drum set or a bass or a piano or something and create something, knowing that they're from Boone, a relatively small-ish town in North Carolina, and they're receiving like recognition and praise from all kinds of people is inspiring. But yeah, after digging into the lyrics and listening to it over the past week, I'd give it a 9 for sure.
I enjoyed the album. I enjoyed the deepness. But again, I don't think I'd ever listen to any of these songs again. Like, I have a really hard time. Like this podcast has taught me, like, am I going to be listening to rap with, like, my kids in the car? Because I just, like, can't listen to anything else, you know? I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to, like, find something else to listen to. But, or maybe I don't know. We'll see. But, I think I'll give this one a 4.5.
Oh, baby.
So not breaking the threshold.
We're so close.
Again, I don't think I could. I don't think I could listen to this album again. Like, again, I'm trying to listen to more like slower. Like, I don't even really like slow rap that much, which is kind of like I think I like faster paced music. Like whether it's and I did like some of the songs on there. That's why I gave it 4.5 too. But whether it's like fast indie or fast country, obviously I prefer rap over everything. But yeah, so I'll give it 4.5.
A 4.5. All right, so that will bring our total rating to 7.83.
That's the highest for
which
sure.
Which is, yeah, it is by a full point the highest album
yes,
so
sir.
far. Well, Turn Blue and Mechanical Bull were tied for 6.83, and then this one has now dethroned that as a 7.83.
Gotcha.
And that's Yeah, it's Jordan's highest rating. Not quite at 5, like you said. He's tiptoeing around that threshold.
This is technically the most common ground we've found.
That's true.
True.
I thought that Anderson .Paak was going to be that, but this one I
cool
thought was also going to be kind of up the same road because it's got good instrumentation. It's got like the rap lyricism elements to it. So I'm not surprised, but I am well pleased.
I think I have one that might compete.
We'll see. All right, so if you want to go ahead and take it away, Jordan, to announce next week's album.
Yes. So next week we're going to outer space.
Okay.
All right. We're going to be listening to Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon.
Baby.
Ooh, a good one.
Deluxe album.
Okay.
I looked it up on Spotify. If I just type in Man on the Moon, the deluxe one comes up. I don't even know if there's like not a deluxe one, but it's the one that is let me just look it up real quick. Just so it's the one with 15 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Is it?
There's one called Man on the Moon, The End of Day Deluxe that has 18 songs on Spotify.
Okay, I think it might be that one. Yeah. Well, I actually found the one that... I'm sorry, I totally did not mean to find something else that... Yeah, so let's... Yeah, the deluxe one's only like 10 more minutes, I think. So let's listen to the Man on the Moon, The End of the Day Deluxe album.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Sorry, most people just call it Man on the Moon, so that's why I said that. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna listen to next week.
All right, I'm excited. That's something that Kid Cudi has kind of been at like the outer reaches of my music listening.
Yeah,
for
me
like
too.
The last, I don't know, 10 years. So that'll actually be good to kind of hop into it.
There's some bops on here that I really like. There's one song that I'm like, oh, I'm ready to talk about, but yeah.
I mean, I think that there's one song that everyone knows. That's awesome.
No, not okay. Wait, not even that one though. That's not even what I was talking about.
But I'm excited because I know that this one is kind of, I know that throughout it's a very thematic album, so I'm excited to look into it.
It's a little like trippy too, like a little bit, but
yes, sir.
Like psychedelic kind of, but
yeah. All right. So that's what we'll get into next week. This one's kind of long, so I guess we'll quickly talk about what we've been listening to in the last week.
I'll go first since I just did that. I've been listening to Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, the deluxe album. Listened to it once, haven't really gotten into it a lot yet. I've been listening to Earthquake by Tyler, the Creator so much.
Man.
That song is so good. Really I love it so... Oh my gosh, I almost picked that as an album, but I want to listen to more of it before I do. I'm re-listening to Ridin' by Crazy Bone and Chamillionaire. It's like they see me rolling, dude. That song by Chamillionaire. Yeah. That song is just so good. I listened to like one or two songs on the Juice WRLD album, but I haven't really listened to a lot of it, if I'm being honest. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been
kind of how I felt about his work is in its entirety.
Well,
yeah.
Some stuff good, but for the most part, and I saw him at Bonnaroo, and that's how I felt.
Wow, lucky dude, lucky. She told me put my heart in the bag. That song's good. I really like that song, but
yeah, I've been listening to this album probably 10 or 11 times. I don't even know. And then I've also been listening to a lot of Glass Animals recently.
Oh, cool.
A lot of, thrown in there. I've got like a summer playlist, so I've been listening to that. But for the most part, it's been a lot of Glass Animals. Some of RKS's other stuff.
Real quick, Nick, did you ever listen to that Glass Animal song with Denzel Curry?
Yeah, I actually listened to it like a day or two ago. It was pretty good.
Yeah, dog. Tokyo Drift.
Wasn't it, dude?
It's a good one.
Oh, it's such
we should just
song.
review that single.
Yes, dude, honestly, bonus content. It's so good. It's so good. I love it.
I've got some ideas in the pipeline.
All right.
Yeah. So what? So Nick, you want to talk quickly
sure
about what you
got
listening to before
we
wrap up?
I've been getting into the Beastie Boys weirdly. They have some they have some really cool, like really iconic samples from like classic rock in their first two albums, and I'm looking forward to listening to some more of their stuff. You got to get used to their voices, but I've really enjoyed it. They're almost like a little funny Rage Against the Machine in the sense that they're like kind of rock, rap, punk, rebellion and stuff. Yeah. But you do have to get used to their voices. But I've enjoyed their music. A nice indie pick. There's a girl named or woman, I guess, named Stella Donnelly, and I'm not sure if she's Australian or if she's British, but she's on the same record label as some other people that I like. There's a band called Whitney that I like. They're an indie band. Alex Cameron, he's on that label. We went and saw him in concert. But she's on that label, and I just started listening to her music because I saw it on their website. And her album, Beware of the Dogs, is pretty good.
Gotcha.
And you know who Dave Cobb is, Jamie? He's like a Americana country music producer. He has a cousin named Brent Cobb who has an album called Shine On Rainy Day. And I found that last week, and I really like it, and a bunch of songs on it.
I'll have to check it out then.
Yeah. And he's came out with 2 singles, and I think he's coming out with an album sometime in the next month or 2. Brent Cobb. So yeah. And I also, on the way to the beach, I listened to a podcast interview with Jim Carrey. The interview was by Mark Maron, who's like kind of famous in the podcast community, but it was a really good interview. Jim Carrey is a very enlightening character, and he said something really cool that I thought was really nice motto. He said, "You need to live in the present because why would you want to look back at regret or look forward in fear when you can just live right now and enjoy it, basically." So
yeah, that's a very good sentiment to.
I like it. There you go. In the pod, bam, cut it off.
There you go. Mic drop on a Jim Carrey quote. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll bring her home then. We wanted to just say thanks for listening to this week, and remember to tune in next week where we'll take a look at Man on the Moon, The End of Day by Kid Cudi. Be sure to listen to it so you can kind of formulate your own thoughts and in your little brain space right there, join in the discussion a little bit. You can feel free to either leave a comment about your thoughts on this week's album or just the episode in general on YouTube, or you can also tweet them at us. We're on Twitter at ListenUpPod, and that account as well as our personal handles will be in the description of wherever you found this episode. But for now, we'll catch you next week, and remember to listen up.